Post office is a British institution. I trusted them fully. I thought they were honourable, and I didn't think they would do anything wrong, which they did.
Running a small post office in the English countryside was Vipin Patel's final job before retirement. But it was here, in the heart of ordinary communities like this, that the most widespread miscarriage of justice in British history was quietly unfolding. It saw more than 900 sub-postmasters like Vipin wrongly prosecuted. Others, like Lee Castleton, were left bankrupt, their lives torn apart.
It was probably the loneliest place that anyone could ever be. You know, it's very dehumanising, really.
The computer processor was down on the floor.
Over 16 years, faulty computer software installed in post offices across the UK presented massive unexplained shortfalls, for which the post office held its sub-postmasters accountable. Vipin was forced to make up more than €87,000 in losses.
I had to cash in my Royal Mail pension and sell my wife's gold to make the books balance.
But it wasn't enough. Vipin was convicted of fraud and handed an 18-week suspended prison sentence.
If I had nothing to do, I'm sure I would have committed suicide, which I thought about and tried to contemplate in doing so a few times.
Vipin's health rapidly declined. A pillar of the community branded a criminal.
There was hatred, literally a campaign of hate pushed towards my father and us as a family. There was a wanted dead or alive poster of my father, a 4-foot cross outside of the shop, and said RIP Vipin, essentially sending my dad a message.
Over 300 kilometres away in the northern fishing town of Bridlington, this was already a story well known to fellow victim Lee Castleton.
This is a photograph from when we first moved in to Bridlington with all our hopes and dreams. It was a great time.
Quickly, his dream of buying a beautiful post office on the coast became a nightmare.
By Christmas, we had a misbalance of £1,103.18, which I paid in, believing I'd made a mistake. I got to the balance the following week and we were short again, and that continued for 12 weeks. Over that period of time, I made 91 phone calls to the helpline, repeating and repeatedly asking for help.
It was here that, desperate, Lee requested an audit. It found losses of almost €30,000.
We would be shouted at in the streets, thief or whatever. My daughter was bullied at school, which was horrendous, terrible time for her, which led to a eating disorder, which lasted 10 years. My wife had seizures from anxiety that grew into epilepsy. And, you know, it's just really difficult to deal with that. Very difficult.
The post office took Lee to London's High Court. Unable to pay for a lawyer, he represented himself and lost. He was ordered to pay over €375,000 in legal fees. Lee was bankrupted.
I equate it to holding some dry sand in your hands. And the more that you try to stop the sand falling from your hands, you just watch your life crumbling around you. And there's just nothing you can do. Nothing at all you can do about it.
For years, Post Office maintained there were no faults with the system. Lee, like Vipin, was told his was the only case.
You're responsible for the loss.
I haven't got that money, and I don't know where it's gone.
What followed was highlighted this year in a sensational TV drama, which sparked national outrage. It shows Lee and others embarking on a dogged search for the truth, leading them to hundreds of other victims. Faults with the software were finally proven in a landmark court victory against the Post Office in 2019. A public inquiry is now underway, as is a criminal investigation, but so far no one's been held accountable.
People were prosecuted by people. You know, the system didn't work, but this is about people. This is about people in power being able to do things to people not in power, the little people. And if we learn anything from this, is this should never ever happen again.
The Post Office has apologised for past events and says it's cooperating fully with the inquiry. Comments echoed by Fujitsu, the company which developed and managed the software. But for the victims, the fight's far from over.
I still very much am, in my mind, a victim, and I'd like to be a survivor.
Yeah, that's me.
Vipin and Lee are yet to receive full compensation. Dozens of others have died before seeing their names cleared.
I'm 70 years old. It has dragged on for a lot of people. I have a lot of anxiety as to how long this will still take. And I fear the chances are it may still drag on for quite some time.
With the public spotlight now laser focused on this scandal, the pressure's on to expose the truth and see justice served for those who've waited far too long.